Hey everybody, real quick, I wanted to show you a couple of my favorite new patterns and ideas in E Mixolydian. Okay, so the first one is going to be here in open position. Sounds something like this. Right? That's right, based off my E chord right there. And the second one is going to be based over my A chord, but you're still arpeggiating an E7 chord. Sounds like this. Right, basically this diagonal line. So let me show you how this first one is set up. And keep in mind, E Mixolydian is built off the 5th scale degree of the key of A. So E Mixolydian and the key of A major share the same key signature, meaning in the key of A, we have a D major chord and an E major chord. So that's where this one gets its idea. So you're playing in the key of E, but without a capo. So you can use all these open strings. So let's first start off by thinking about just going 2 to 0, right? 2nd fret to open. Looks like that, right? Easy enough. And you're just going from an E chord to a D chord there. Right? But now let's turn it into something a little bit more musical. And the first thing to think about is you don't have C sharp in there, right? You're kind of missing a couple notes from the E Mixolydian scale. So if we do this, if we add your C sharp notes in there, that's 4th fret on your A string, right there, right? Now we've got something a little cooler. So if I start on an E note, it would sound like this. Now you can hear that 1 octave scale if I start just on this E note on my 4th string, 2nd fret, right? So then you can do this kind of pull-off lick where you just do 2 to 0, 4, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 4, 2, 0, and then end on an E note here. If you wanted to end on your root note, there's 2nd fret, 4th string. So you could do something like that too, where you that's O, 2, O, 4, and then you're going to come back up to your top string open. And then do open 1st string, and then 4, 2, 0 on your 2nd string. So think O, 2, 0, hammer on pull off, 1st string, 4 on your 2nd string, and then O, 4, 2, 0. And then you can keep going with that sequence down, so you'd basically then start it on your 2nd string. Right, so it's just a sequence where you go O, 2, O, 4, O, 4, 2, O. That's the main sequence. Repeat it here, but if you don't have a note on your 4th string, 4th fret notes, so that would only be on your 2nd string and 5th string, then you just keep going on 2 to 0. So this is the first sequence, and then you got, and repeat that. Now what you can do now is you can add this F sharp note here, and that'll give you your 9th in E Mixolydian. And this can sound real nice. We're not going to, now I'm not going to add, this is a D string. I'm not going to add the F sharp note here because we already get it open, right, on my 3rd string. So then you get this. Another lick I really like to do is do this kind of quick Ba-doo-doo. Where you do pick your 5th string open, slide up to 4, ba-doo, and then go up the scale. And then E. So that's in this position. Now the other position, I'll use a different color here, is going to be over my A chord, right? An E7, which that's kind of what E Mixolydian is. It's the 5 chord of the key of A. You can get this nice E7 chord right here over your A chord. So think, you know, it's in the key of A, basically A major, but it's an E Mixolydian. So check this out. We get this nice little pattern here forming, and we can even go up here and get B. And this, what this does is this, well, let's do that. It kind of ruins the pattern. Let's just do this for now, so you can really see that pattern here. See that the diagonal line, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I want to show you that diagonal line. What that is, that's G sharp. That's the major 3rd of an E7 chord. There's E, the root note of an E7 chord. There's D, the flat 7, and B, the 5th. So you have all those notes of an E7 chord. Now we can extend that out. Get another root note there, get a 5th of the chord there, and we can keep going. You know, you can add any of the notes to the key of A, and keep in mind 7th fret. You know, if I did all blue notes on my 7th fret, those are going to be the filler notes of an A major chord. So you can have those as passing tones, you know, where but it's real nice to go down this pattern, because you just got to drag your bar down this diagonal line. However you want to do it, but all you got to think of is this is the 5 chord arpeggio in the key of A major, and that highlights that E7 chord, which is what E Mixolydian is based out of. So you can resolve it to any of these red notes if you're, you know, jamming. Normally, E Mixolydian is kind of a static kind of chord, but you can also play progressions over it. You know, there's I highly recommend getting on YouTube and just typing in E Mixolydian jam tracks and just playing along with these different ideas, and then extend this whole out to write out all your notes in the key of A, right? Just basically, key of A has an F sharp, a C sharp, and a G sharp. And that's going to be the notes of an E Mixolydian. And think of E Mixolydian as just an E major scale, right? Here I play an E major scale on my 1st string. Right, or there's the major scale would have a D sharp, but the Mixolydian scale, if we extend this pattern out on my 1st string, it'd have a D natural. That's your flatted 7th. You can just keep going. There's F sharp, there's G sharp, A, B, and so on. And you can do this on all your strings and, you know, add to the 2 patterns that I just showed you. But if we just go here to here, E to E, like an E major scale, but flat your 7th, that's going to be that sound of E Mixolydian. And check out this arpeggio. You can even just grab just this little pattern on the top 3 strings. See this little diagonal line there? That'll really highlight that E7 chord. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. See you on the next lesson.